Hello and welcome back to the another episode of the Hindu News Analysis. Well, it is 1st July today, and in this video we are going to discuss some important articles which could be very much relevant for your preparation. You know, before we'll start our discussion, I would like to take a minute here in giving you the brief introduction about this initiative so that if you are new to our channel, you will get more connected with us. Basically, every day on this YouTube channel, we upload two videos for you guys. One in the morning session where we discuss the daily news analysis, which is this video where we discuss the important articles which could be relevant for your preparation. We break these articles down, we try to derive the information. We derive the information which is relevant for your prelims preparation as well as for your mains preparation. And at the end, we try to derive the possible prelims or mains questions which could be relevant for your exams. So this is what we do in our first video. In the second video, which we will upload in the evening session, we discuss the daily, we discuss your static syllabus there, as we had promised you that by the month of January 2026, we are going to complete your full syllabus. And currently we are discussing Indian polity. There are only few classes left, then we will complete Indian polity. If you are interested in being the part of this journey, in letting us be the part of your journey, so please do subscribe the channel, do share it with your friends, and do write in the comments what else should we bring for you. This is totally free, this is for you guys. Please do visit us, and if you like, then do appreciate us. Now, without any delay, let's start our discussion with the article number 1, which is given on the screen. As you can see here, the article is basically talking about the need for GST reforms. Need for GST reforms with respect to the sin goods, or we can say with respect to the tobacco control, and also it deals with the unfinished business in the tobacco control. So to discuss this, to understand the article, there are few important points, few critical points which are mentioned in the article which are important for you to understand. But to understand them, first let's try to develop a base. Why do we need GST? Why do we need GST reforms for that? What is the necessity of that? And what is the scope of tobacco in our country? What is the consumption rate of the tobacco in our country? And what are the various health impacts due to tobacco? In our country, there are various ways the tobacco is consumed, maybe through cigarettes, maybe through BDs, maybe through chewing tobacco like naswar and all that in our rural areas. So there are various ways the tobacco is consumed, and in these ways the cigarettes itself contains 15% of the tobacco consumers. So a cigarette is not all what it is about. It's cigarette, smoking cigarettes is not all what it is about. There are various ways in our country that tobacco is consumed. And if we look globally, what is the rate at which we are consuming the tobacco in the globe? In the world, we are the second largest tobacco consumers of the world. So this is how much we consume the tobacco. This is how much we, how much our people are involved in consuming it. And we look at our population. We are the world's largest population. So definitely the consumption of tobacco in our country is very huge. So what does it mean? It also means that even though the consumption is very huge, health related issues are also very huge due to tobacco. There are high non-communicable diseases through tobacco, and at the same time there is a one good impact on the economy, that the revenue generated through tobacco is also very huge. So there are various ways this topic is to be understood. At the same time, first we have to control the use of the tobacco, but we cannot totally ban it. And at the same time, the revenue which we are generating through tobacco, it does need to be sanitized. It does need to be controlled. In that way, it will have both impact on the economy as well as we are at the same time disincentivizing the tobacco. So let's try to understand the article now. As we had here established that what is the consumption of tobacco in our country. We are the second largest tobacco users, tobacco consumers in our country. So with respect to this, how does it impact our health? You would be very much aware of that. It is the leading cause of the cancer in our country. Tobacco is the leading cause of the cancer in our country. Most because of the tobacco. Approximately around 3,500 deaths per day are due to or due to tobacco use. So definitely there is a need to bring in the policies, to bring in such policies by which we can control the tobacco use. But what can be the various ways we can control it? One way which may come to everybody's mind, that why not government come in. Revenue is not much bigger than the health of the people. In at the end, the people, if we have the healthy and young people in our country, they could be the best source of revenue. In fact, if they die because of the tobacco consumption, because of the cancers, it is going to impact the economy of the country, it is going to impact the demographic dividend of the country. So why not we go for the complete ban on tobacco? This is one of the argument, but let's analyze this. We are living in that time of the world where liberalization is a trend, and our constitution, if we look at the preamble, we are the liberal society. We cannot put this blanket ban on the tobacco consumption. We cannot totally ban it, because it goes against the principles of liberalism, it goes against the principles of free business, it goes against the principles of life to live with liberty. So definitely we cannot impose it, but still there is a need to restrict its use. How we can restrict it? There is the need of the various policies from the government. In this way, what can be the various ways? There can be the strict policies with respect to where you can install these shops which do business in the tobacco. What are the places where you can install them? Who are the customers who can get access to? About India, it is very much important thing. You should note that in India, getting access to tobacco products is so much easy as compared to other countries. That is the reason why there is high burden of tobacco patient, cancer patients, or tobacco. There is high burden of it in our country. The disease is caused by the usage of tobacco. There is high burden of it because it is accessibility. It is very much accessible to everybody. So first, there are various policy measures which the government can bring in. Then at the same time, the government can incentivize it by increasing the taxes on tobacco. With respect that we had brought in, there were various taxes with respect to tobacco, and finally we had brought in GST, one nation one tax, under which there is high slab for the tobacco products. It is being 28% is the 28% is the GST for the tobacco. But if we analyze it, is it the real solution? Can it be the real solution? We can increase the, with respect to the sin goods, there is one important thing. If you are habitual of it, making these slabs does not work at all. If you are going to increase the taxes, it will further increase the demand of the product. And if not increase the demand of the product, what they will do? For example, if you are habitual, if you were in colleges, if you know anybody, or you are you were in college. I will talk about myself. When I was in college in 2014, at that time, my classmates, they used to smoke, and one of my friend, he used to smoke long gold flake. It costs around 12 rupees at that time. When the trend started shifting, when the rates started increasing for the long gold flake, eventually it reached 20. I guess it is 18 right now. Now he has shifted his his smoking pattern to the shorter gold flake, to the small gold flake. So this is how the habits may change. You are not going to leave this product, but what you will do, you will go for the cheaper copy of it, and finally you would get more, you would be more exposed to such diseases. So definitely the GST its alone cannot be the solution for it. With respect to GST also, even though we had a high cap of 28, but it is recommended that it should be further increased. It should reach to the 40%, because it is necessary that the health of the patients, health of the country, health of the individuals in the country is directly proportional to the health of the country, and health of the country is directly proportional to the economy of the country. If we have the healthy youth, it definitely will lead to the benefit of the country. So what is discussed here, that the GST, which has been unchanged since years now, there is a need that it should be changed. The slab rate should be increased to the 40%. And also GST itself cannot be the solution. There is a need for bringing in various policies. The accessibility of the tobacco products should be made very much difficult. Children with certain age, with under certain age, should not be allowed to, it should not be easily available for them to get access to the tobacco. And at the same time, there is a need that we should give the proper there should be proper advertisements with respect to the misuse of the tobacco, how it is going to harm the people, and how it harms the full family system in the country. So this is what the article is basically talking about. This is the gist of the article which we discussed here. I hope you had understood it. There are few important facts which we realized here: the tobacco consumption of India, the slab of the tobacco, and how much burden the tobacco consumption has on the Indian people. So with this, let's try to solve a possible prelims question which could be relevant from this article. Let's try to find out it. Let's try to solve it. The question says, consider the following statements regarding tobacco consumption in India and the goods and service tax framework. First, India has the second largest number of tobacco users globally. That is true. Second, all tobacco products including BDs, cigarettes and chewing tobacco are subject to the highest GST slab of 28%, and also a GST compensation cess. Cess is only for the BDs. And also with respect to this, always remember that whenever there is such extreme statement, that is often incorrect. When second statement is incorrect, that means B is also incorrect, C is also incorrect, and D is also incorrect. With this, we are left with option A only, that is the true statement. So with respect to this, the correct statement is only statement 1. With this, let's move to the another article. Let's have a look at it. What does it talk about? And let's try to discuss it. Here is actually the report which was in the journal in France, which talked about the gender gap emerges with respect to mathematical abilities. Why it basically questions, why does the gender gap emerge with respect to mathematical abilities? This whole discussion, it is based on a report in the journal in France. So let's try to discuss it. Let's try to find out what is this, what does this article basically talk about, and what are the reasons why there is so gender gap with respect to it. Why is it so that female sex is less getting involved in the STEM related subjects? Let's try to analyze that one by one. Well, this report was published in a journal named Nature in France. So let's try to discuss it. Let's try to find out. Basically the article, it starts with that when the parents admit their kids in the schools. When parents admit their kids in schools, and when they are in the elementary classes, what we had found, that the ability of the child to solve the mathematical problems are very much same in both sexes, whether she is a female or whether he is a male. If the ability when they are in the elementary classes, it is almost same. They have the same ability to solve these mathematical issues, mathematical problems. But what does the study found out? Once they start to they are getting promoted to other classes, when they are rising the ladder, when they are moving forward to the other classes, the divergence starts to increase. The male children, they are getting well versed with the mathematical abilities. They are getting more strong, they are solving mathematical abilities more in the best way possible, while as the female sex, while as the girl child, as they move upward in their classes, their ability to solve these mathematical problems decreases. So here the article has found out what are the possible solutions for that. Basically the author here highlights that there is one solution. It is basically about the teaching pattern in our schools. Basically this is the stereotype which has developed over the centuries, that that female children, they are good in arts and literature and history, the male child, he is good in mathematics and science and engineering related subjects. So this stereotype, when the child, they are not exposed to anything, and when they enter into the school, their ability is almost same. But once they are in school, the approach of the teachers towards the children, it impacts the children, the mentality of the children. When they are exposed, that when the statements are made in front of the children, that you are a male child, you are a boy child, you should be able to do it easily. And when there is a girl, she is told to read the paragraphs and all that, what is the vocabulary of different words, when she is told what is the pronunciation of different words, whether you can draw the arts, and least focus is given to the female child with respect to mathematical solving problems. It eventually develops in their mind that they are good in particular subjects, whereas male is good in particular subjects. So this leads to this diversion. And also this research has found out that if suppose if there is if we will bring in two students, both getting same marks in the classes, and they will be given some specific time period, that within 5 minutes you would have to solve this mathematical problem. What does it lead to? It in such conditions, it is found that the female child is not capable to to solve such questions in that particular time period, because of the pressure she gets from, the external pressures, the external stress she gets from, because of it, that she has to solve it within 5 minutes, within 3 minutes, and it is also impacting her capability to solve the problems. So this is according to this article, this whole discussion. If I will make it if I will sum up it in a single line, that this whole discussion revolves around not the social, not the basic, not the biological ability. There is no difference in understanding the mathematical problems with respect to biological ability, but it is depending upon how society has infiltrated in this issue, how the society's stereotypes has developed, and it has led to this, that the female child is visible as the least well known with respect to mathematics, rather than the male children. And also this is one of the major reasons. Then also, if we look at the for example, if you have to achieve something, if you want to become the IAS officer right now, there would be someone who would have inspired you. There would be, maybe you don't remember that, maybe you would say me that, sir, there was no one who inspired me, but trust me, you would have read somewhere that there is Falani from your state, there is particular person from your state, he has qualified the IAS exam. Then it would have stayed in your mind, even though you don't know him, even though you did not ever talk with him, but this role model, he became a kind of role model for you. But with respect to female children, with respect to the female sex, there are least number of role models in this regard. So it does not inspire them to pursue their career with respect to the STEM subjects, especially mathematics subjects. And also how the parents approach their children, when they will go to any store, the kind of toys they would bring for their children, and the kind of toys they will bring female child, and the kind of toys they will bring for the male child, that would be totally different. For the female child, it would be related to kitchen sets and all that, and for the male child, it would be related to research and some different. It would be related to much, it would be related much different. They would play different games there. But for the female child, it is very much confined with the kitchen sets, and maximum they can play the doctors and all that stuff. So society has given this pink collar jobs, they had confined these pink collar jobs for the woman, and it is what it is being fed to these children, and eventually they understand that, they feel that they are not better in mathematics, and they shift their interests towards the towards what they shift their interests towards the non-STEM subjects related to art and history. So this is the reason. Now what can be the solution to this problem? The solution is very much simple, that we need to sanitize our teaching system. We need to give the proper instructions to our teachers, that what should be their role must focus on teacher training, how they should behave in the classes, and what should be their role, how they can how they can define somebody's career. So this is very much important. The teachers training is very much important in this regard. So with this, I hope you had understood the article. Nothing much to gain from it, but it can be very much relevant for your question writing, answer writing with respect to your mains exam. So with this, let's move to the another slide and see what we have there, what article we had brought here. Well, the article itself is very much important for your understanding. This article, it sums up the past foreign policy of India, the present ongoing foreign policy of India, and what should be our foreign policy in the near future. So this article is so much important for your understanding. As the article says, in a perilous world, India must read the tea leaves well. So what does this article talk about basically? We had seen right now, this is actually, we are discussing this article many times, and I would personally would had discussed a few important facts which were mentioned in the article many times. But let's try to recap it. Let's analyze the article in much detail, and so that you will get more connected with us. The world order has changed right now. Do you agree with me with that? World order has changed. How right now, if we will see what is happening in the world, for example, there is there is a war happening between Russia and Ukraine. There is a conflict between China and Taiwan, which is an ongoing conflict. Even though it has not seen the military approach yet, we have not seen attacks, but this conflict is always there, and very soon there might be something silly may happen there. We also saw recently there was the war between Israel and Iran. The Israeli attacks on Gaza, and also the Operation Sindoor, or we can say India versus Pakistan. So with respect to this, let's analyze these little bit. We don't need to go that much in detail, but let's analyze it. When there is a conflict happening between Russia and Ukraine, and we will see how the world is responding and how the India is responding. We will see the countries will take sides. Either they will be either aligned towards the Ukraine, for example USA and the European countries, or they would be aligned towards Russia, for example Iran and China. Similarly, with respect to China and Taiwan, either you will be in this part or you will be aligned towards this. Similarly, with respect to Israel and Iran, there were countries who were supporting Israel, and there were countries who were supporting Iran. Similarly, Israel and Gaza, now it is becoming universal, and it is not even a battle anymore now. And with respect to India and Pakistan. So what do you think? What has been India's approach with respect to that? I'm trying to give you this analysis in a very different way. Here, when it was between Russia and Ukraine, India's stand was very much neutral. When it is between China and Tehran, even though India is siding towards Tehran, but still, Taiwan, sorry, but still India's approach is somehow neutral in it also. When it was between Israel and Iran, India is neutral. When it is between Israel and Gaza, India is neutral. When it was between India versus Pakistan, now this situation started. When now we started to get what our policy was. When at all the stages, when at the global stages, we are staying neutral. But once the problem reached our doorsteps, and we expected world should take our side, at that time, our own partners, they started staying neutral, except Israel, because Israel is not accepted by anyone in the Middle East. They are not accepted by Pakistan. They have the issues with such countries. Except Israel, every country was staying neutral, who were our allies. So what is the issue with this? Why it is so? The reason is, the article here is highlighting that our approach of non-alignment movement, or non-alignment, which was started after the independence, it was important for that time. If we look at the situation that time, we were newly independent, our economy was confined to the country, so it was very much important for that time. But right now the global tenure has changed, the global situation has changed, the geopolitics has changed. Now if we will stay neutral, if we will not align towards anyone, when there is conflict in our country, when we are surrounded by two neighboring countries who are as much willing to attack us, as we are willing to attack them, or we can say this is becoming much extreme, who are as much enemy to us as we are enemies to them. So it is very much important for us to align towards some group, so that when there would be a conflict, when there would be a problem with our with respect to such issues, the countries, our allies, will stand with us. If we are making, for example, when there was a vote on Israel and Iran, or when there was a vote on Russia and Ukraine, India stayed silent. India did not say anything. So when we needed the help from USA during the Pakistan, they were not going to send their troops to us to fight for us. What help we needed for them? That they should stand with our narrative. They should stand with our narrative. The dehyphenization which we had started way back in 1980s, they should not try to damage our reputation. But in the end, our approach, which has been very much different, which has been very much non-aligned, it is giving these effects. It is showing that if you are not going to align with anyone, nobody is going to align, nobody is going to speak for you. So this is what the article is here talking about. Basically this article is talking that our foreign policy with respect to these such issues, for example the multilateralism which we believe in, is not going to work. And it is the need of the time that we should separate our wings. We should pick up a side which we should support, whose decisions aligns with our decisions, and whose interests align with our interests. We should support that side, and get very much firm with our allies, so that if there is any issue in the near future, we can be protected and supported by those friends. This is what exactly the article is talking about. So here it is my personal opinion with respect to this. Earlier, even though we believed in non-alignment movement, but we were very much tilted towards USSR. But right now what I believe is that we should tilt towards USA. Why USA is not friendly with us, that friendly, even though they are very much friendly with us post 2001. But recently we saw different trends in the relationship. It is because our approach towards the non-alignment movement, our approach not standing with them. Once we will start standing with them, once we will start changing our behavior towards them, it will definitely reciprocate in that way, and we will increase our potential will be acknowledged, and our sovereignty will be respected definitely. Now here the question may come to your mind: why should we ditch USSR, or why should we ditch Russia? Russia has been our strategic partner for years, but the present Russia is not the same Russia what it used to be 20 decades back or 30 decades back. It is not same Russia anymore, because Russia has been USSR. It has been replaced by China. We have to understand this thing, and China is not a good friend of India. China is always trying to counter India through its proxies like Pakistan. So we cannot expect Russia to support us when there is any conflict between China and India. Why? Because Russia is highly dependent on China. So during such situations, what we need a stable partner. We need a partner who does hate, who does dislike China as we dislike them. So what is better for us? The better thing for us is to move towards to align towards the Western powers. And we are seeing it right now, how India is aligning towards Israel, even though we are very much neutral with respect to Israel Gaza issue, how they are aligning towards Israel when there was Iran and Israel issue. We are seeing these trends are happening, but there is the time that India should legally, or we can say should have this policy that we should align towards the West and for our better interests. So this is my personal take. You may disagree with me, but This is what the article here says. The article here criticizes the non-alignment approach which India is having, the neutral approach, not non-alignment approach, the neutral approach which India is having. Because of this neutral approach, after what happened after Operation Sindoor, the how world started buying the facts from Pakistan much earlier than from India. So this can be one of the reasons for that. So with this, I hope you had understood the article. Now let's move to the another article and see what we had brought there. Well, the article is talking about why the prestige of doctors is eroding. Basically, this is very different article, and all the facts in this article are not important for you. But there are few health-related issues which were highlighted in this article, which can be very much important for your preparation. For example, shift in health-related, shift in health-related concerns, shift in health related concerns, for example, our country, we started from underdeveloped country, and we are moving forward, we are developing right now, and what is our approach? That we should become the developed country by 2047. So we are in this stage, developing stage. So in this stage, when we are traveling in such in this path, there are different diseases in particular countries. For example, in the underdeveloped countries, there are the diseases which are very much communicable in nature. For example, malaria, dengue, and etc. And in the developed stage, the health concerns are very much different. At that stage, the diseases are very much different, for they are much non-communicable in nature. For example, diabetes and all that. But once a country is in this stage where they are developing, at that time the country suffers from the double burden. They at the same time they have the non-communicable diseases, and at the same time they are suffering from the communicable diseases. So they have to target through the two sides, through the both sides. So it becomes really difficult for the health system in the country to control it. So this is one of the issue. Because of that, there is concern with regard to this, and it was highlighted in the article. And second thing, what was highlighted, that even though we had started to develop, we are in a developing stage. Earlier what used to be the life what used to be the lifespan of a person, it would be in India when we were underdeveloped stage. At that time it would have been something around 50 to 60 years. Now by the time we had developed in various areas in health sector especially, the lifespan has increased to the 80 years. But the issue here is that even though we had increased the lifespan to the 80 years, but the quality of life which the person goes through from 60 to 80, we had not improved this quality of the life, because the system is not such a great right now. So these were the few important facts which were highlighted in this article. Rest, it is not important for you. Why the prestige of doctors is eroding, they are not going to ask you such questions in the exam. Maybe for the paragraph reading, for example, in your CSAT, this article may come. So with this, let's move to the another article, the last article of today's discussion, and see what does this article talk about. The article here is basically talking about the voter verification drive in Bihar. Too little time, too many hurdles. Whenever there is any elections about to happen in any state or the country, so the first thing for example, if it is in a country, if it is in state elections or the legislative assembly elections, or during the Lok Sabha elections, what the election commission will do, they will ask the authorities to go for the voter verification, to bring in the voter verification drive, so that they can establish the fact that who are the voters of the country, who are the eligible voters, and who are the people who are going to vote in this election. So with respect to this, same is going to happen in Bihar. But with respect to Bihar, there is very least amount of time given for that. There are elections after a few months in Bihar. And also with respect to this, there are various issues in Bihar itself. For example, what did they establish through the what are the decisions taken for this voter verification. The decisions are taken that who else were the part of the 2003 voter, who else were the part of 2003, who else were enrolled voters in 2003, they will be enrolled in 2025 also. They won't be asked the questions, but who else was not enrolled in 2003, they will be added in 2025 electoral rolls. So but the question here is, according to data, approximately 59% of the population of Bihar are to be enrolled in 2025. For the enrollment you will need various documents, and with respect to the Bihar and the documentation, the documentation burden, there is huge gap in it. People in Bihar, it is estimated that the people born in 2000 from 2005 on from 2003 to 2005, only 2.38% of the population has the birth certificates. So even though they are the citizens of the country, even though they are the domicile of the Bihar, but still because of the lack of documentation, and if they will start getting the documents for the enrollment of the voter, for the enrollment of the voter ID, they will not be, it would be very much difficult for them to do it in a specific time period. So eventually what it will lead to, it will lead to the losing their right to vote in this election, because they may not have the documentations and they may not be able to get enrolled on the voter list. So this is what the article talks about. It says, even though we have these things here, we are giving them time, but the situation is different. It should have been done much earlier, but it is too late. So this is what the article here talks about. With this we complete our today's discussion. I hope you would have liked the video. I hope you would share it with your friends, and I definitely hope you would subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.